Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And welcome back to the Weird Science Comics YouTube channel, where I'm going to be going through the much anticipated Batman Spawn #1. It's finally here. I didn't really know what to expect, and I say that it might sound silly because on the art side, I kind of expected awesome art, and surprise, surprise, we got awesome art. What I mean is on the story side of things, I didn't really get how you were going to get Spawn and Batman together, how they were going to play out all of this, if they'd be fast friends, formidable foes, all of that going on. And while I did think the art was awesome, which is not any sort of surprise, as I said, because it is Greg Capullo getting back with Todd McFarlane on Spawn, and also something I didn't think about, the idea that he was also doing Batman, and he ends up doing his New 52 Batman and his world there. The story lagged behind a bit. The story was a bit more convoluted and complicated than it really needed to be, in my opinion. And because of that, I only liked it. I didn't love it. But speaking of likes, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications, and let me know what you thought of Batman Spawn #1 in the comments below. And here are the credits. Batman Spawn #1 is written by Todd McFarlane, with art by Greg Capullo, inks by Todd McFarlane, colors by Dave McKeag, and letters by Tom Napolitano. And as I said, you can easily see for yourself when you open up this issue that the art is fantastic. If you're a fan of Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder's Batman run, you're bound to smile at the fact that everything going on here feels spot on, and it feels like you're getting bonus time with Greg Capullo doing one of the things that he does best. You know, you get the cool Wayne Tower. You get the Joker with a stapled on face that I never thought I missed until I saw it again. And of course, you get the Court of the Owls. And the story does involve a conspiracy. It does involve the Court of the Owls. What I like about it, though, is that Todd McFarlane and Greg Capullo are making the Court of the Owls feel legit again, feel like a big threat again, because they've really been watered down over the years since Capullo and Snyder ended up using them to great effect. Now, I don't want to spoil the story too much, but it involves the fact that Spawn's wife Wanda and Bruce's mom Martha ended up dying at the exact same moment. And while at first I kind of got visions of the Batman v Superman Martha thing, it's not quite that, because it wasn't by accident. This was not a coincidence. It is a multi-universe conspiracy that goes deep with twists and turns, including possibly having Thomas Wayne in on it, which ends up being crazy. I'm going to admit it, though, here that on my first read, I was still a bit confused. I didn't know exactly what was going on. It took a second and a third read through to really get the gist of the story. And even then, the story did lag a bit behind the art, but the art's awesome. So you can kind of see that, but the art's the main attraction here. And really, using a cliche, the art is worth the price of admission, even with the price of admission being a bit elevated here at $6.99. Now, what I did really enjoy the most are the fight and the action scenes. And it's not just the idea, oh man, it was so awesome seeing Batman and Spawn go at it. Or man, Batman and Spawn teaming up against a Talon was really cool. No, it was that Todd McFarlane and Greg Capullo worked together here to give us action and fights that also give you character moments. You end up seeing just how similar and different that Batman and Spawn are, but also see how the interaction, especially with Spawn, in this Batman world, how things are a bit different than what he's used to, and especially when he can't utilize his powers. Now, in this, too, one of my favorite parts is when Batman spells out to Spawn, listen, I fight and use my brain. You end up using everything below. You end up using your brawn and powers. And it's a big diss. I mean, you end up having Batman saying, you know, I'm the smarter guy, and that's why I win. But Spawn counters it with saying, you don't understand. You're not from my Earth. If you were from there, you'd die in an instant. You want to use your brains are going to be splattered all over the pavement. That's not how we roll there. So there are those differences. And it ends up where, because of just that sort of interaction, I really want to see Batman and Spawn's world. I really want to see this continue and see how it all works together and them getting to the bottom of this big conspiracy, because in the end, you don't really end it. You end up where this almost feels like a prelude. It almost feels like just the setup, and we'll get to the real story later. And it's so open-ended at the end that seems like it's going to be the case, and I can't wait for that. But it also feels big. It feels like a crisis. It feels like the start of something really, really important, and even has little tidbits and tones of, say, a Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo metal story in here. You get certain phrases and things that really will trigger the memories of that metal for a lot of people who are familiar with that story. So while it feels big, which is great, it is a little bit upsetting that it doesn't really end by the end. But again, it makes it feel like, oh man, I can get excited because I think this will continue down the line. But even if it doesn't, seeing Batman and Spawn team up was great. And I think most people are going to be buying this mainly for the art. I'd love to hear if somebody out there is like, I'm not even going to look at the art. I'm here for the story. I don't think there is that person. But if there is, I'd like to hear from them and hear what they thought of this issue. But most people are going to be here for the art. And so if that's the case, if you're just wondering, hey, the art is the big thing, the story's just, bonus, you're going to like this. I can easily recommend it to you. If you're getting it for just the story, though, you might be a bit disappointed, especially when it does end without a lot of closure. But seriously, I don't know that there's anybody just buying this for this story. But overall, with everything kind of in the equation, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. And I do hope that it does continue. And if and when that does, it might be one of those that it actually elevates my score what we get down the line, though I think it's going to be a bit far and between. So it might be something that eventually, after years, whatever, I'll get the trade. No, look at that. But overall, for just one issue, art great, story a little bit disappointing. I still liked it. 8 out of 10, and that's that. So let me know what everybody thought in the comments below, what you thought of the whole Spawn and Batman teaming up and taking down some Court of the Owl's talent that really like to talk a lot more than I like my talents to. But with that, hey, I'm going to get going. Please like the video, subscribe, hit the notifications. But really, again, I can't stress it enough. Let me know what you thought of the issue in the comments below. But with all that, I will talk to everybody later.
Go read comics.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science
is the revolution.
Weird science
is the revolution.
Weird science
is the revolution.